All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about Starmer, Mr. Keir Starmer, over in the United Kingdom and the crisis that his government is now in after, not Donald Trump, Elon Musk decided to criticise him. Stick around and listen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the situation with Keir Starmer in the UK. I'm sure you're aware that people who criticise mass immigration or say something that could potentially be offensive to people in the United Kingdom can be arrested. You know what I mean? I'm very lucky, very glad my own podcast is not from the United Kingdom, because I myself could have probably ended up in trouble. It's just, I think it's a terrible disgrace in the country that gave us the Magna Carta and essentially the modern system of democracy and our modern civilization, which is the English culture, Anglo-Saxon culture, that it's now reverted to a kind of 1984 socialism light, where if you say the wrong thing, the police come knocking and they chuck you in jail. And, Elon Musk obviously took umbrage with this, and he also pointed out that, that there's been these terrible Muslim rape gangs in Rotherham and other cities across the United Kingdom, where Muslim gangs have been raping underage girls, and it's something like 250,000 victims. I mean, that's a lot of people, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I mean? I mean, that's enough to make anybody question mass immigration, isn't it? You know what I mean? And that can't be discussed. And there's many memes going around showing that essentially, these kind of grooming gangs and rape gangs are being covered up, and they are being covered up by someone like Keir Starmer himself, who was the director of criminal prosecutions for a time there and was doing everything he could to cover this up. So in other words, if you criticise it, you're arrested. If you criticise a vile crime like that, you're arrested. But if you commit it, the government will try and cover it up. I mean, that just shows that something is rotten in the state of Denmark, and the government of the United Kingdom under Keir Starmer is not fit for purpose, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Labour governments in the United Kingdom, I mean, obviously Blair was one of the first, what you'd call globalist kind of leaders of the United Kingdom. His government didn't seem so bad at the time, but in retrospect it was quite awful. And Starmer is something else. Obviously the Tories have been in power in the United Kingdom for a long time, so we've had a vaguely right-wing government, and we've sort of had hit-and-miss leaders there. Sometimes you've had a leader like Boris Johnson who might be good on some things, and then next thing you know he's switched sides. Boris, I don't know how they blackmailed him or got to him, but they seem to have, sadly, because he seemed like he could have been an English version of Trump. The politician we all love over there is Nigel Farage, who leads another party in the United Kingdom, and he is going to be some threat, I think, to the Labour government and also to the Tories in the next election. But for some reason, Elon Musk has criticised Nigel Farage. Elon Musk, for some reason, has really sided with Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson is a UK nationalist. I don't think he runs an official party. I don't think he's, but I know Nigel Farage is Reform UK. Probably should team up with him, but there seems to be some animosity between Tommy Robinson and Nigel Farage. I hope they can sort it out. Maybe that's what Elon Musk was encouraging. Obviously I think Tommy and Nigel together would be a great combo. Obviously, there are some people on the right that there are fights, because, Nigel Farage might be a slightly softer position than Tommy. And, that's fine. I think everyone can have their different opinions. There's no reason why they can't still collaborate. You know what I mean? There's been talk that Tommy Robinson is an Israeli stooge. He is quite fond of Israel, which is unusual, from a far right leader anyway. Not all of them, though. There are many that way. There is a conspiracy theory that, for whatever reason, Europe and the UK have been flooded with Muslim immigrants, not because they want to replace us, but because Israel wants to put us in a similar position that they are in, which is in the sense that surrounded by Arabs, and the Arabs will be attacking us same way they'll be attacking Israel. And that really the Israelis want to sort of essentially breed Islamophobia so that Europe becomes quite radical in relation to how they deal with Muslims. And then in a sense they can be, So I don't know if that's going on. That is a theory that I haven't heard that often. Maybe it's a theory I've come up with. But it does seem possible that that is what is going on, because I don't ever believe that, France or, Germany or the United Kingdom will ever become fully Muslim countries. So that they must reach a point of critical mass where the local population pushes back. And that might, at the time, suit the Israeli agenda, which appears to be expanding of Israel into other countries. Obviously, Gaza's gone, so that will just be expanded into. In 10 years, we probably won't even hear about it because it will just be part of Israel. But it appears like Israel also wants Lebanon, Jordan, parts of Syria. Obviously, Bashar al-Assad has left, has fled to Russia, so that obviously suits the Israeli agenda. So as far as I can see, Israel is expanding, and that in a sense, far-right groups, people like Tommy Robertson, even people like Nigel Farage, and other far-right groups all throughout Europe, people like Geert Wilders, Le Pen, AfD in Germany, as long as they are pro-Israel, will be almost allies of Israel in essentially a coming almost, how would you call it, clash of civilizations with Islam. So that appears to be, and obviously Trump would be on that side too. He would be anti-Islam and pro-Israel in that fight. So I think that's what's going on, and I think that's what we're seeing, a change in the whole geopolitical picture. So it is interesting, and I think Keir Starmer's government will fall. I hope it does, because he's a terrible leader. And I don't know whether we'll get a stronger Tory leader, or maybe we'll be lucky, we'll get reform. Reform will sweep. Because, all the English people want is from, ever since Brexit, they just want mass immigration to stop. Even from non-Muslim country, can't it slow down, or slow down to a point where it's, tolerable, like 5 or 10,000 people a year? You could handle that. Any culture could probably handle that many people. And we need that here in Australia too. We have far too many people. And you see that happening in America. There's a back door that they created that Elon Musk is in favor of, the H1 visas, which is how talented Indians get into America. And Elon Musk seems to be in support of that. And we don't know exactly where Trump stands on that yet. We'll have to wait till he gets into office. And obviously there are a lot of Indians coming into our country. So we just want to protect our local countries and keep them as similar to the wonderful countries that we've lived in for the last 50 years, since the end of World War II. But obviously our countries have drastically changed. You only need to go into any of our CBDs. I was in the CBD on New Year's Eve, and the majority of people in the CBD were Asian, probably 60%, and 70% were what you would call non-white, and there was about 10 or 20% of white people wandering around looking at the fireworks, and it's just so noticeable now. It just does seem that a lot of immigrants do congregate in the CBD area. It's a different kettle of fish out in the suburbs. I don't know the exact demographics of Australia. I still think about 60-70% of Australians are of European origin. But I think we all have to keep an eye on demographics as we move forward, and I think due to the change in the geopolitical picture, that's exactly what's going to be happening. So let's keep an eye on it all. Let's hope that the Keir Starmer government falls, and that there's some kind of accountability for these awful rape gangs. And Elon Musk is completely right to point this out, and I think it's great what he's done. And obviously, because he's not a UK citizen, Keir Starmer can't arrest him. And I think it's shocking that people are being arrested over posts in the country that gave us the Magna Carta. That's a disgrace, ladies and gentlemen. So that's it for the report from Tiger Mountain today.